What if I told you that Brook's backstory isn't over? What if the skeleton musician we've known for hundreds of chapters is secretly connected to one of the biggest mysteries in One Piece? Because after chapter 1183, it feels like Oda is trying to tell us something huge. We finally got another look at Brook's homeland, the legendary Esperia Kingdom, a nation famous for music. A kingdom that no longer exists, destroyed, gone from history. And the more details Oda reveals, the more suspicious this entire situation becomes. Because in One Piece, music has never been just music. Music represents freedom, joy, and liberation. And those are the exact things Imu seems to hate. The first thing we learn about Esperia is that it wasn't a normal kingdom. This was a nation built around music. Everything about it revolved around instruments, songs, and art. Music wasn't just entertainment, it was their identity. And that immediately stands out, because throughout One Piece, music keeps appearing when freedom appears. Think about it, Binks' sake, the song of liberation, the drums of liberation, Brook's entire role in the crew, even Luffy's obsession with finding a musician. Oda keeps connecting music with freedom again and again, which raises a question. If music represents freedom, why was the kingdom of music destroyed? Now let's talk about Imu, the ruler of the world, the person responsible for erasing history, destroying islands, and silencing anyone connected to the Void Century. Everything Imu does follows one pattern: erase dangerous ideas. Not dangerous people, dangerous ideas. Joy Boy, the Ancient Kingdom, the D-Clan, Nika, freedom. Every single one of them threatens Imu's control. And what does music represent? Freedom, connection, hope. Exactly the things Imu hates. Suddenly, Esperia starts looking less like a random destroyed kingdom and more like a target. Then Oda introduces Queen Candelle, Princess Shuri, and young Brook. And honestly, young Brook was living his best life. Legendary swordsman, military leader, personal retainer to the princess, respected throughout the kingdom. This wasn't the Brook we know. This was a completely different man. But here's where things become strange. The clothing, the designs, the aesthetic. Many fans notice that Brook's outfit looks surprisingly similar to Holy Knight uniforms, almost identical in some places. Now, before people start screaming that Brook was secretly a Holy Knight, that's probably not what's happening. But Oda doesn't create visual parallels by accident, especially not in the Final Saga, which means Esperia may have had deeper ties to the world government than we realized. Then comes the biggest clue. The Holy Knights take Princess Shuri. Think about that. Why her? Why specifically target the princess of a music kingdom? The answer might be simpler than we think, because One Piece keeps repeating one pattern. Whenever a kingdom possesses something important, the world government takes it. The scholars of Ohara, the Lunarians, the Buccaneers, the Ancient Kingdom, every time. And now Shuri, which suggests she wasn't random, she was important, very important. Now let's talk about the craziest theory, Binks, because chapter 1183 brings Binks' sake back into focus again. And whenever Oda mentions Binks, pay attention, because we still know almost nothing about him, yet his song survives centuries, possibly even since Joy Boy's era. That is not normal. Songs don't survive that long without a reason. So what if Esperia wasn't just a music kingdom? What if it was the birthplace of Binks' legacy? What if Binks himself came from Esperia? Or perhaps someone connected to Joy Boy created that song there? Suddenly everything starts fitting together. And here's where things get really interesting, because this entire flashback feels strangely familiar. A music kingdom, a girl connected to music, a dark force taking control, a swordsman trying to save her. Sound familiar? That's basically Film Red. And many fans are beginning to wonder if Oda used Film Red as a testing ground, not for the story, but for the concepts. Because Top Musica and Imu suddenly feel very similar. Both are ancient, both are connected to darkness, both take over other people, both threaten entire worlds, and both are connected to music. That can't be a coincidence. But the biggest question remains. Why now? Why reveal all of this during Elbath? During Imu's invasion? During Loki's battle? Why Brook? Why Esperia? Why now? Because Oda only reveals information when it becomes relevant. And that means Brook's story is about to matter. A lot. Not in the future. Now. The Final Saga is here. Joy Boy is returning through Luffy. Imu is moving personally. The Holy Knights are involved. And suddenly Brook's forgotten homeland is receiving attention. That isn't random. That's setup. So here's my theory. Esperia was not destroyed because it was weak. It was destroyed because it was dangerous.
Dangerous to Emu, dangerous to the world government, dangerous because it carried something connected to music, something connected to freedom, something connected to Joy Boy, maybe Binks, maybe Nika, maybe something even older. And if that's true, then Brook's story is far from over, because the skeleton musician we've laughed with for years might secretly hold one of the biggest keys to defeating Emu. But that's just my theory. What do you think? Was Esperia destroyed because of its connection to Joy Boy? Does Binks have ties to Brook's homeland? And why did the Holy Knights take Princess Shuri? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like